Alrighty guys, how's it going now? Home from the sale. That was the previous video. Brought that thing, the Luther cattle brush and oiler, into this corral. It's got to be at least 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. Beginning part of February anyway. Roughly beginning to mid-February. And these guys haven't really used it that much. I'm actually quite surprised. Like, these 4 bulls of ours, old Sheriff there and Max on the other side, Little Red and Big Red, they haven't used it much. I don't know why. The heifers were using it way more. Little Red right there, my plan is to use him as a heifer bull. I don't want big calves. And his dad is a Red Angus. His mother is a Angus Sim cross. And she's not a big cow. So, and he's smooth shouldered. He's not big blocky headed. I don't think anyway, so I'm sure he'll just throw small calves. I don't know what his birth weight was, but I don't think he was much more than 80 or 82 pounds. So, and that works just fine for me, especially for heifers. Anywho, yeah, the heifers, first and second time calving heifers, they loved that cattle brush. But these guys are not really going crazy for it. I'm actually quite surprised. Sashi, what are you doing? Anyways, my chores here are basically done. And I got to finish in that corral over there what I started the other day. So that's what me and the dog are going to go do. The heifer's way over there. They see the grain pails and they think they should be entitled to some of that grain. But I ain't giving them grain. So yeah, I'm gonna work at getting some more snow out of that corral. Won't be able to do too much because went to fill the fuel tank and the friggin' bulk tank in the yard here is empty. So I got a phone for fuel first thing in the morning. Anyway, I'll let you guys go and we'll talk to y'all later. Probably catch up to you tomorrow. Morning, everybody. It's a little cooler this morning. It's humid. That's why it feels colder. But anyway, it's supposed to warm up really nice today. Again, +1 type of thing. Anyways, with the stock trailer, been having trouble with this goddamn jack. At that midway point where you would start getting weight on it when you're wanting to unhook or hook up to your truck or whatever, it gets really tight. So tight to the point I could barely crank the fucking handle. So I got the cap off. There was grease in here. I oiled the fuck out of this thing. And there's lots of grease in it. The grease is on the gears, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But I think what happened was moisture got in there and it got on the shaft or the rod that screws up and down for your inner piece here. Plus there was some rust buildup on the piece, that part of the jack that goes up and down, the extension. So we'll crank her now. Now she'll crank with one hand. There's no weight on it, but just the same. Before, it was not one hand, even with no weight. I sprayed it, that part that's going down, that part of the leg, I sprayed it with Deep Creep, Seafoam Deep Creep. And right about here is where we would start getting really tight. But now it's working pretty free. I don't necessarily like the way it's jumping like that. Getting close to the end of that where it'll actually fall right off. And what I did for oil inside this box, I had a bunch of deep creep in there. I sprayed it with a deep creep, and then I took not gear oil, but actually I used chainsaw oil. That's the bar chain oil, extra tacky, and I figured that would seep down underneath the lower gear down there and get around the shaft at the bottom and work its way down. And it did, because that's all oiled up really good. But now she's working pretty nice. It still has a little bit of a tight spot on it right through that point, but not like what it was. Like, it was terrible. Anyways, so that might have been a cheap fix without having to replace the damn jack for a while yet. So I'll leave that be for now. We got a feed out in the bush, and we got another fix project that we got to deal with yet today too. So I'll let you guys go, and I'll bring you back for that other fix project when we get to it. Alrighty, now that the cows are all fed, we can get on to some of these other little projects. And this thing, I just lifted the tank and threw a couple blocks under it. It's basically empty. There's really nothing coming out the valve, but so I don't get diesel fuel on me. Tilted the tank so whatever little bits in there is running to the other end. The valve, when you open it, it's dripping out the valve. So apparently I can get, there's a kit available for these valves, and my local fuel supply, they have them in stock, lo and behold. So take that off. He said that you just got to screw the cap off and it should come out. Looks like I'll have to get a ladder and get in there and find out what's involved. I might have to pull the spring and the washer off, but there's a rubber O-ring of some sort on the end of this plunger, and that son of a bitch, the fuel is bypassing on it. So we'll get some tools and a ladder and get after it. Sasha, right? Sashi. Yeah, okay. Talk to you guys later. Alrighty, so we got it out. Virtually, here, I'll show you what it looks like when it's all together. And then there's a key that goes in that little hole right there, at where my thumb is. And that holds the spring and whatnot in there. Take that off. And then I was able to reach inside the valve, and this, you got to screw this part out from the inside of the valve, and you can see the rubber here is all hooched. There's another rubber on the on there, and then this one here, and these are leaking just ever so slightly, that when I open the valve, it leaks out the handle a little bit. And this is all like a white metal or aluminum or some fucking thing like that. So anyways, we're gonna run and grab a new kit for this, and that way we don't have to replace the whole valve, because the valve itself is over $100 friggin' for an 1.25" valve. It's nuts. And then on top of that, I've got a new nozzle in the shop to go on this end, and I'll have to double check, because this is 1 inch, to make sure that that's a 1 inch nozzle, because this son of a bitch is leaking. When you're filling the tractor, it drips, and I don't like that. So yeah, anywho, we'll get that done, and we'll get that trailer done today, and who knows, maybe I'll even get a chance to get these hoses and find out which one is leaking. It's these two hoses here. One of them is leaking inside this goddamn sock, and they go to the bottom side of this disconnect valve for the grapple, and they go to that valve there, and they come around and tie in to the bottom of this thing. So all these little jobs I want to get finished up. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, so just picked up a check from when we sold those 6 cows. And this here is the average weight per cow. So here we had 3 that in a group. It says heifer, bred heifer, but that actually means that's cow. Anyway, and they averaged 1593 for those 3, so just shy of 1600. Then we had one at 1950 pounds, one at 1935 pounds, and one at 1560 pounds. They were big cows. Big girls. And we averaged, oh, BP's cooking, and the fire alarm is going off. We basically averaged 3,700 per cow. Actually, it was a little better than that, but still not bad. Can't complain, that's for sure. And so I'm gonna make myself some lunch, and we're gonna get the hell back to work. Talk to y'all later. Alrighty guys, so you can see the new one here. This is the new one. That's the old one. And this inner O-ring is hooched. I probably could have found an O-ring that would have worked in there, but you know what? I got all brand new parts. New seal here. New seal here. And this is a flat square-shouldered seal, this one. So we'll just go with this guy. Get them installed. Also got a new pin and a new washer. So all we got to add to it is the old spring, and we're set. There's the old spring. So let's go ahead and thread that sucker back in there. Hopefully I can get it threaded in with these pliers okay. So he literally just slides in like so. And then you struggle to find the threading and get everything going, right? Looks like I think we got her. And then I'll use my plier to snug it up, and we're done. I'll bring you back in a little bit. So, as you can see, I got the spring in there. I pulled the plunger back, so it's in there. I pull him out, spring in, washer, and it's got a shoulder on it, so the spring sits inside like that. And then our pin, give it a bendage, done. Now, then you just thread this guy back on. Like so. Fixed. Woohoo! I guess we'll find out for sure if it's fixed or not when they fill it with fuel. And if it's leaking, then it's not fixed, right? But they're supposed to be coming tomorrow. So, talk to you later. Alrighty guys, so the trailer's done. I pulled it out of the shop. That's done. Now this thing. And it's not in the best of condition. It leaks through here as you're filling. When you do this, when you squeeze it, it drips out there. The O-rings inside are shot. And I had this one in the shop, and I'm not 100% sure where the hell it came from, or if it works or not, or whatever. But it's a 1-inch. If you can see that, right there, it says 1-inch. This is 1-inch, so theoretically we should be able to thread that bastard right onto this hose. So I'm going to work at getting this off, and I'll bring you back in a minute or two. Alrighty, so we got the old one off. I put the white on here, and from what I was told, and I don't know if this is true or not, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but white thread seal was generally used for hydraulic and waterline fittings. And then there's a yellow product, which I'm all out of. That was used for diesel and gas fittings, like gasoline, kerosene, diesel, gasoline. And that was a yellow tape. And then the pink stuff is used for like natural gas. So I was told. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway. If I can do this with one hand. I got white, so we put white on. And we'll have to set you down so I can tighten her up good and proper. And where are we going to set you? Something like that. And my handy, trusty little workbench here. Come on, you fucker. Excuse my French, sorry. There. Think that's gonna work, guys? And this one has a lock on it. But that's not going to work on this tank because these locks generally work for under pressure. I don't think it's going to work for us here because this is just a gravity flow. But we'll give this a try. And of course, son of a, it won't fit in there to hang it. Damn it anyway. God darn her. God darn her. Well, we're gonna have to come up with a different hanging solution. But for now, we'll put them like that. For now, that'll work. My lock is here, and so that job is done. Back to the shop. You're not driving this time. What the hell? I had the tractor running earlier when I was grabbing my tools and she was sitting in the driver's seat. I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Alrighty guys, so did not take the hoses off that thing. I wanted to make sure I had time to get them off, get them fixed, and get them all on the same day. But I had this panel kicking around for the last number of years that was all busted to pieces. I shouldn't say it was busted to pieces, but it was busted up. And went to work on it, and it's not straightened out perfectly, but you know what? It'll work for inside our big back pear pen or calving pen, that 24 by 24 foot pen. You got a couple of animals in there overnight with calves. I could just throw a square bale, put this kind of against the one corner in the pen, throw a square bale in there, and that way they're not just kicking it around in there and basically stepping on it and sleeping on it. So I think I got her to the point now where we can actually use this thing. I also need to make 2 10-foot corral panels and one 12-foot, or I could even custom make it to about 13 feet. And that some bitch. Sasha, stop digging. Yeah, stop digging. Hey, you need to stop. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, 13 feet would be better, and if I had a portable welder, then I could actually mount it in such a way that it'll swing. And I'll show that to you guys when the time comes. But for now, let's get the steel cut for all these darn things. Later.